Aloha and welcome to our Aloha Friday podcast here at the Ho'okele department at BYU Hawaii in our humble town of Laie. I am your host, Jason Ava, and I am very excited today to be able to be a part of this podcast, especially with two of the guests that will be joining us shortly. But before we get started with that, I definitely have some announcements to make. And so, right here down at the bottom bar, we have our Mentoring Monday podcast with Wesley Bilton of Siva on May 2nd at 3 o'clock Hawaii Standard Time. Also, we have our Aloha Friday podcast with Max Imagizinov on May 6th at 3 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. I do apologize if I butchered your name. Also, we have our BYU Hawaii Open House event in Provo, Utah, Wednesday, May 4th at 6 o'clock. And so here is a flyer of the open house. And so I guess you could also scan the QR code that is right here to gain more information. So, but yes. And so that, I believe, is all of our announcements for today. And so before we get into the thick of it, with all the announcements and things of that nature, I just wanted to take this time to be able to just thank everybody for joining us today, especially for our two guests. They are longtime members of this community in Laie. They have been up and around the world, especially in our homeland in Samoa. And so they'll be here to share that with you all. And so I want you guys to take notes as to some of the things that that they were able to experience in their journey, not only here at BYU Hawaii, but as members of the church and as members of this little community that we're so grateful to be a part of, but also their experience and how they were able to relate to students and as students themselves, of course, they're alumni here, and also how they've given back to the community in that regard, and of course, raising their family in the gospel. And so this is a very, very exciting couple. I'm very proud that they could join us today. And so I'd like to welcome, with a big aloha, President Francis Ho Ching and his wonderful wife, Lanett. Hey, how you guys doing? Aloha.
Aloha.
Well, as I mentioned, you guys are one of the couples that I remember for a very long time here in our community, and many of us who are from here know you guys very well. And so it's been a minute. It's been a long time since you guys have left home and then have a new home elsewhere. So I'll let you guys share that. Please give our audience, for those who may not know you, please introduce yourselves and tell us, a little bit about yourselves, of course.
All right, thanks, Jason. So I'm Francis Ho Ching, and of course, my beautiful eternal companion, Lanett. We both were students here at BYU Hawaii about 35 years ago. And so it's been a while, but we love it here, and we love the community and the school. And so we're grateful, very grateful for the opportunity and the privilege to be part of this today. You want to share something?
35 years ago, that dates us.
You could have fooled us. I'm pretty sure everybody on this platform would be like, 35, get out of here. Get out of here. Wow, 35 years ago. Time has flown by so fast. Of course, you guys look the same 35 years ago. I do remember growing up and watching you guys. I'm from this community. I went to Koku High School. I graduated here at BYU Hawaii. You guys know my wife's family, the Ngale'is. And so being that we will talk about some of these experiences and places that you guys have worked at, but we're all threaded together. And so this is, seeing our family members who have gone to do other great things and then have come home. And it's just a pleasant surprise to have you guys here, and a wonderful feeling to have talked to you guys prior to this podcast. So thank you again for joining us today. And I definitely want to get started. Would you like to get started with what you're sharing with us today?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, well, let's go. Okay, so let's see. I do know. I apologize. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We have a wonderful picture of both Francis and Lanett Ho Ching. And I've noticed the title. I was pretty curious. Aloha is a verb. Can you explain what you mean by that? Because I didn't even know what a verb was. And so...
And you graduated from BYU Hawaii?
Well, I'm a Koku High School student too. The thing is, for us, grammar could be a thing, but we were always about putting in work, and then we ask questions later. So I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. So please.
Don't worry, Jason. I feel the same way.
Well, I did teach at Laie Elementary for a while.
Mhm.
I pride myself on being a gecko. So I do know that a verb is an action word. And so aloha is an action. It's like love is a verb, right? It's an
That is
action.
true.
Aloha is not just a thing. It's not hello and goodbye.
Right.
It's an action.
Wow. That makes total sense. Thank you for that education, that edumacation here. I know I'm not the only one in my class that didn't know a verb was an action word, you know. Slipper is an action word. It means you better duck if you see it coming. A flying book is an action word.
There you go.
And so anyways, thank you for sharing that. I think now I feel a little bit better. All right. So I see that we have some, looks like some college students here. And of course, I see Ken and Barbie here on the right. So please do tell us about this picture that we're looking at.
So this is part of our journey here at BYU Hawaii, 35 or so many years ago. And this is a picture of Lanett and her two roommates.
Well, they weren't my roommates. They were actually friends of mine. So I lived in Hale 3.
Okay.
And whenever he wanted to come and get me,
That's right.
I was on the inside room. And we didn't have cell phones back then, right? So my roommate was Shauna. She was awesome. She and I lived on the inside. So whenever he wanted me to come out and come see him, he would drive by my friends' rooms right there. That's Renee and Kathy. And he would throw rocks up at their window.
Just like in the movies.
Just like in the movies. And he would say, Renee, Kathy, I need you to go get Lanett. And so they'd run over and get me, and then I'd come to the room. But that's us we used to have Oreos and ice cream late at night and just hang out. And those were the days, man. No care in the world.
I noticed the feather look too. You got the bangs and the feather look.
Hair.
That is so dope. I like that. That definitely brings a blast from the past that is very classic. You know, people don't know what Aquanet is. They will never know what the feather bangs do. So
Good days.
Absolutely. And so this gentleman here, in that Knight Rider car, is that Michael Knight? Is that Dave Hasselhoff?
That was my pride and joy back in the day. I worked about 3 jobs so I can afford to have this car. And I think that's the reason why Lanett wanted to hang out with me.
That's the only thing I liked
it wasn't
about
about
it.
me. It was the car. I think this was taken somewhere.
This was close to when we got engaged.
Wow.
So we used to work hard during the week, doing school and classes. We had a class together, but then on the weekends, we like to cruise and see the island. And
in fact, I had it planned out where I was taking one class on Fridays. Friday morning, early in the morning. I convinced her to take that class with me. And then I knew my supervisor at PCC at reservation was really nice, and she would allow me to take Friday off. So that was the day that we'll drive to Waikiki and we go and just enjoy, hang out.
Try to be a local.
Wow. 3 jobs. 3 jobs. I mean, you know, 3 jobs nowadays is almost normal, but 3 jobs back then, we looked at that as somebody who knew how to work, who understood the possibilities of having money and the lack of time in certain relationships. And so putting those 2 together, I can imagine that Lanett, you probably felt like, wow, you know, this brother goes to work. And the little time that he has, he's spending it with me. I mean, how important is that in today's relationship, you know? What do you guys think?
It sounds silly, but I remember one thing that I loved about him was he would grab those tithing envelopes and I'd see him sticking that money in, and he always gave his portion back to the Lord. And I love that about him. And I think, you know, you're right. It's an expression of opportunity. It was an expression of him having an opportunity and taking it as far as he could. And also being an example to our family and our kids. They saw that throughout their whole lives. So.
Wow.
And I credit that to my parents. They taught us that, you know, you have to work and you can do hard things. And I didn't know any different other than, you know, I have to work hard. And if I want things that I, you know, set for my goals and whatnot. So that was something that was instilled in me when I was very young. So I'm very grateful for my parents.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. it goes a long way. I know we talked a little bit earlier what I would have done different, and I probably would have taken from infancy to before they were teenagers or children to really build those work ethics in them about the gospel and about how important it is to survive this world. So you had a very blessed upbringing, and Lanett was able to see that. Most people can't see those traits, but Lanett saw that. And so that goes to tell you a little bit about where Lanett comes from, because it takes one to know one, right? So that's a beautiful thing. All right. Oh, so the trips to Waikiki and the hanging out and cruising led to these pictures. Okay, let's go.
Well, I have to say something before we go any farther, because when I was dating him at school, I was only going to come for one semester, and then I was going to go back to Provo, and he did not want me going back. So I called my dad, and back in those days, we had to call by, you had to call collect, right? Because there were no cell phones. Hey, what do you think about me staying, for another semester here in Hawaii at school? I already have a job at PCC, and I'm going to make sure I can afford it and, take some classes. And my dad said, well, why don't you call me back next week? Let me think about it. And we'll talk about it then. And they knew I had a friend from Samoa. And the first response they gave me was, what's a Samoa? They didn't even know what Samoa was, right? And so anyways, the next week I called my dad and my mom back. And my dad said, well, you know what? We love that you're having a great time, but we just want to make sure that it's not Hawaii you're in love with. So come home like we planned. Let's have you work during the spring at home. And then you can decide if you want to go back to Provo or BYU Hawaii in the fall. So I went home and obeyed my parents. And I left, I think it was May. And in June, he followed me.
When you have a good thing, you got to go after it, right, Jason?
I totally agree with you.
That's another thing that my parents taught me, that if you know of a good thing, you got to go for it. And so I save up enough, and I plan a trip. Actually, the trip was with me and my two other cousins, and we went. We planned to go to Utah, and so we went to Utah, and then we went to BYU Provo and play basketball there. And then I look at my watch, and I told them, "Oh, can I take me to the airport?" And they said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I have to go to see someone really special." So they didn't know. I said, "Who's that?" "Oh, Laie or Arizona."
Right.
So they dropped me off at the airport, and I jumped on the airplane, and I went down there, and I met her parents, and
that was it.
Yeah, they were really kind. And it was kind of good too, because I wanted to make sure that they were, accept me from Samoa, and they were amazing.
They loved him almost more than me. Almost.
Wow. And you know what? Being that we're all married, I assumed we've gone through different family dynamics, and they're not always easy. They're not always accepting, especially if you're coming from two different cultures. And the fact that they received you well, it goes to a testament to Lanett's family and how they raised her to be able to recognize a good thing too. And so, wow, man, I hope, we can only hope and pray that our children will find eternal companions that would love your children, the way you love your own. And so, that might be a little bit too much to ask for, but when it all comes together and the spirit is there, it's a beautiful thing, And so anyways, I'm just falling in love with your guys' story, and thinking about, like, maybe we should make a movie out of both of you, so that way we can do the new edition of Johnny Lingo, what I mean? The Ho Ching experience, something like that, But
so these pictures are from April 25th when we got married, 1987. So we just made 35 years this last Monday.
Congratulations.
And we still like each other.
We still do. There's still things I don't know about him.
That's the spontaneous part of our relationship, is that you're still trying to figure out things. And I hear it's different from the times when you're in your 20s, when you're in college, of course, when you have your family, and then you're in your 30s, 40s. I'm not even sure you reached the 40s yet, but I hear that it serves a different challenge in a way that that it makes you have a different perspective in life. Being married at this age, like, what would you say to other students who are looking to get married as a quality that has served you both well?
Well, our missionaries, when we served our mission, we used to ask them, does he love the Lord just a little bit more than you? If he loves the Lord just a little bit more than you, if you love me a little bit more, love the Lord a little bit more than me, then that makes the marriage Christ-centered. And when it's Christ-centered, it's a lot easier to deal with life when you have the Savior as the center. Honestly, it is that triangle. You've got us, but you've got him at the center. And it really does make things flow a lot better.
I just remember, because 3 of my girls have been married, and my boys are still working on it. But I remember when they came to ask us for our daughter's hand, one of the questions that we always ask is, do you honor your priesthood? And do you have a current temple recommend? And to us, that was very important. So we want to make sure that they love the Lord, like Lanett was saying, and that they have a good relationship with our Heavenly Father and our Savior, Jesus Christ. So,
and the only thing that I would say that I said to my son-in-laws, they were almost son-in-laws at the time, was, okay, so I just have one request from you, just one. My daughter's been waiting her whole life to get married in the temple. You make sure she gets there. Make sure she gets there. Don't do anything that would keep her from fulfilling that goal. And they all did. So I'm really grateful for that.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. I didn't mean to go off script, but I thought I asked that because it's important, especially how people are hitting certain challenges in their family dynamics, in relationships. There's a lot of things that are up and against husband and wives and the sanctity of marriage, and sometimes it's based on financial status, could be spiritual, could be a lot of things. But as you mentioned, as long as you understand where God is in your life, we all don't marry particularly perfect people, but to have a perfect understanding of where God is in our lives, it helps us to I guess own up to the choices we make in life, and getting married is a huge thing. And so we've had those conversations with our own children about, like, yeah, I know you love being with so and so, but could you do that tomorrow? Could you do that for the next week? Can you do that for a month or years? Can you do that? I said, I still ask your mom every day, do you still like me after 27 years? Do you still like me? It's because, your good looks, they go away after a while, and you realize there's got to be much more than that. And so I do too also pray to God every day that I'm saying the right things. I'm in the right position to be able to serve. And so they say marriage is a serving industry. When you're married, you're constantly serving one another. So I thank you again for sharing that with us today. Sorry, I'm gonna get off my soapbox right now. All right.
So this is a picture of me when I graduated in 1987.
Yeah, right after we got married, actually, June.
And so I had 2 goals when I came here to school. One was I didn't want to get married until I know I was going to finish school. And the second one is I wanted to get married when I was 25 years old. And lucky for me, Lanett came along.
The timing was just right.
The timing was just right. And I knew it was a really good thing. And that's why I went after her. But it wasn't easy, going to school, working and trying to save up for marriage and whatnot. But I'm grateful for my professors and my teachers that really helped me along the way, my journey here at BYU. Also working at the Polynesian Culture Center, which provide for some financial support. And I was able to graduate with in business management, which should really help me through my career. So if I can do it, anyone can do it.
So was education always part of the fabric of your family and your upbringing in terms of, that type of conversation where, there's mission, there's school, and then there's marriage? Was that a thing in your family that your parents harped on because it was important?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, you only take 3 things with you when you go back to Heavenly Father. And one of those is knowledge. And so everything that you obtain, all that you spend your time gaining knowledge through should be important and noteworthy and something that you can use to help build the kingdom here on earth and also to be prepared to meet him. So knowledge is very important. And also just do what is right so you can find what is right. If you have a goal to get married, it's easy to do that when you're just doing the right things. And one of those is going to school.
Absolutely. Wow. So Lanett, did you come to school? Did you finish school here as well?
So I went to Provo for a year and a half, and then I transferred here.
Okay.
And then in between our engagement, when we were engaged, waiting to get married, I went back home and worked. And then I came back and I was not signed up to go to school. So I got a job at Turtle Bay.
Okay.
And I started working right away. So I actually did not finish school here, but I did work and contribute to helping with the family, with insurance that our family needed. And it was a blessing. The education I did gain was very helpful.
No, absolutely. And you resemble a lot of the you represent a lot of families who are built on that structure in supporting their husbands and their children. You know, it's just like any wife and mother who loves their families, always continuing to give of themselves, of allowing that type of sacrifice. We don't live in that age anymore. It's like, I got to go get mines, and regardless of where you're at. But the fact that you put your husband first and your children to support what works for both your families, I applaud you. Thank you so much, because it's not easy to do, and especially in the dynamics we live in now. So thank you for sharing that. And so business management, President.
Yes.
And so I'm pretty sure we'll talk about where your education has led you to, correct?
Yes.
You might have my accounting too, right?
Yeah. And I grew up with my parents my dad's being we had, business at home, retail store and gas station, and eyeing the buses. In fact, I told Lanett I would never want to have a retail business because you get stuck. You can't go anywhere. I have my friends going playing basketball. I can't go because it's my turn to man the store. So we used to kind of work with my siblings to kind of trade off. Hey, can you take my shift so I can go play, and I'll take your shift. So I told Lanett that I don't think I ever want to have a retail store. Own it.
So you did business in a different way, huh?
In a different way, yeah.
Yeah, that's not easy. Retail is not easy. I feel
The
like
margins are very small.
Yeah,
Small.
yeah. And how do you? And so in Samoa, right? So where in Samoa was this business? Is that where your family's from? Like,
Yeah, we're from New Uli, so right in the middle as you go into the main eye in the village. So our house was right there. We had the small store and the gas station. So
wow.
We went back for our mission. It was still there. So
still there.
Really
awesome. That.
Wow. Well, shouts out to our family in Uli.
Yes.
You know, that type of experience goes a long way. So, and I had a question about that, but I guess we'll come across that soon. So nice. 87. Every time you guys say the year, I'm like, man, I was still in diapers, I think. Man. All right. So it looks like we have some family pictures here. Please share with us what we're looking here.
So this is just our family growing up in this community. That's why I say aloha is a verb. It's not something that you say, or it's not a noun. It's just something you do. It's something that you embrace. And we really loved rooting our kids in the culture here in Laie. We loved this world, that this little tiny community is filled with so much culture and so much beauty from everywhere. And our kids grew up loving dancing. They danced hula with Auntie Sunday, Maritarangi.
Yes.
They learned Tahitian from Uncle John and Auntie Tiani.
Yeah.
And they loved them like their own kids. It was a beautiful growing up experience for them. And I learned how to weave and make any kind of headband or hipband that you needed. I learned how to sew with the help of people from the community. And it was always a family affair. You can see from the picture that Kendra right there is 13, and I think, or maybe 14, and I think Quentin is only 1 or 2 there. And it was always, we remember lining them up for Tahiti Fete and having them, okay, stand right here. Dad's going to tie all of this, and I'm going to put your headpieces on. And I'm going to crimp your hair, and we're going to get you all ready. It was always a family fair, and you can see on the right side, our kids embrace that their whole lives, not just in Laie. They went on to BYU, and they performed
Living Legends.
at Living Legends.
Yes.
Our daughters were section leaders for Living Legends. Our oldest daughter, Kendra, went to Stanford, and she ran the luau there 2 years in a row. And I went up there and helped her sew costumes and help the kids. And they performed. They still perform today. My daughter loves to make Laie up there. And it's just a part of their lives. It's a part of this beautiful culture here, the love and the warmth.
Wow. I mean, when you share that story, what feeling comes to your heart? I mean, when you see your children following in the same legacy, the same footsteps that you guys and their grandparents, what's the feeling that comes to your heart?
Well, I think joy is the main thing. I mean, it's joy, and it's something that, like, you hear all the time.
Yeah.
You can take the girl from the island, but you can't take the island out of the girl. And that was our
Amen.
kids. I mean, they're up there, and they're pursuing their education and their dreams. You know, they're doing all different kinds of things, but they love this part of their lives, and they still embrace it.
Wow.
And to me, it's, that the saying that it takes a village to raise a kid. And this is exactly what it is with our kids. It's the community was very much part of that with their upbringing, their culture, and everything that they learned. So we're very, very grateful. And so we'll continue to.
They're a product of course, the spirituality here, but they're also a product of so many people and their talents.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, just the gratitude and both how you're voicing this is it's very heartfelt. Just the gratitude that you are expressing and watching your children grow up and feeling that joy. That is so vital and so important, especially to rearing our children and helping them feel God's love no matter where they go. And so thank you, man. I really appreciated that. All right. Oh, we graduated again. What is this?
So this picture, just before we went on our mission, in the same year, I think I hit 35 years working at the Polynesian Culture Center. And so I was among several other people that also worked for a long time at the center. So it was very special. That was given to, all these laies. And then I think a few weeks later, we were on our way out to the mission.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was very, very memorable to me. And I'm very grateful that we would come back from our mission and still have an opportunity to work at the center and continue to learn every day, So
the picture on the right is him at a trade show. So he went from, what did you start at? You were a busboy?
So in fact, I had lunch today with Delsa and Steve Laulu.
Oh.
And we were just talking, and Steve Laulu, President Laulu, his wife was Wendy Laulu, and she was the supervisor at the box office at reservations.
Oh, okay.
Me and my best friend, David Beetham, we were working at the restaurant. We figure that's the best place that we can get food is working at the restaurant. Humble beginnings. And so I was a busboy and David was a dishwasher. When there was an opening at reservation, we both compete trying to see who can get into. The first opening, we both went. And fortunately enough, I got hired by Wendy. And then I was talking with President Laulu today on that. And then the next opening, David was able to get into reservation. So I've learned so much through that experience as well. But
then you went to sales.
And then after I graduated, I was lucky enough that Alfred offered me a job with Christy Albanese if I wanted to work at sales. And so I said I would love to. And so I work in sales for about 30 years plus and spend most of my time in Waikiki. I built a lot of relationship and a lot of longtime friends in Waikiki. Mm-hmm. So coming back from my mission, I'm still working at the center, but I have a different role. But I still maintain some really good relationship with some friends in Waikiki. So it's been an awesome journey, and it's continuing to this day.
35 years.
35.
And he was gone a lot. He traveled so much. He was He was gone every month doing trade shows and travel shows and powwow and all kinds of things. And so it was me and the kids, but we never worried about him. We never worried about him. He was in good hands.
I mean, okay, Lanett, just give me what was the secret to doing that as to keep your family together while Francis was gone and providing for your family in that manner?
Just busy doing the right things, being active in church, fulfilling our callings, the kids being involved in young men's, young women's mutual, and being involved in school, sports, activities, working hard in their education. When you're busy doing good things, you're going to find good things. It's very simple. We complicate it in the world, but it's not complicated.
Wow.
In other words, keep it simple.
And there was no social media back then, FYI.
Oh, man. I think we need to sign you guys up to do devotional on your relationships, marriage 101. I think, for many of us, we could use a refresher, or we could use a reminder, about how important it is to, to understand the plan, and then to support one another, and, everybody kind of hooies together and just like, okay, this is just what it is. But that's a miracle in some regards in our day and age, where a parent leaves to go to work. I mean, it's not unique in terms of where we're from here, but to many other places that could serve as a challenge in keeping the family together. But man, you guys did that. So wow, congratulations on keeping your family together. Wow.
It wasn't perfect, but we did our best.
Mm.
And we grew and learned a lot. Yeah.
Okay, looks like you have a bunch of children here, Lanett. Please, are you?
So I only worked until we started having a family. And once we started having children, I stayed home. And I remember we lived our first apartment was at TVA, R220.
R220,
and
with a view at the temple.
Our view was of the temple. And we lived there for about 2 months. We used to joke about it when we were dating, because it was such oh my gosh, we're going to live at TVA. But we loved it. It was cheap, and it was
the best
fun,
deal in town.
Best deal in town. So when we hit the real world and I started working, we lived at Turtle Bay and worked there for a while. And then we had our first baby. We took a leap of faith and moved to Laie in a little home on Polycana Street. And it was a teeny tiny little square box that had 3 bedrooms, but it was more like 3 closets. And it was just so small. But everyone at work said to me, "You're crazy. How can you afford to not work?" And I says, "Oh, we can do this. We can do this. My husband works hard, and I am going to have a more important job." And so I stayed home with all of my kids. And when the last one was in preschool, that's our Quentin, who's now serving a mission.
Wow.
When he was in preschool, that's when I went back and I started working. I started working at Laie Elementary, and I was a part-time teacher there, and worked there for about 14 years. And for the last 4 years, I was the music teacher. And so that was for the entire school. And that was the greatest joy of my life. It was the best. But until I worked, I would volunteer when the kids were all home and not all of them were in school yet. I would go to the school and I would volunteer and help with assemblies, or read to the kids in class, or help coach the dance team at the high school. Just something to be involved and to be present there where my kids were.
Wow.
That was, the kids blessed my life far more than I blessed theirs. It was wonderful.
So Lanett, so I know you went to school for a little bit. What were you studying? What were you planning on doing, and what major?
When I didn't go back, I had decided on early childhood education.
Okay.
But I play piano. I taught piano at my home for years, and I grew up dancing. So I had a lot of experience with that. So hence I coached the dance team, and I helped choreograph at the show choir at Kahuku, Vocal Motion, and wherever I could serve and help in music, that was a big part of my life.
Where does this love for children come from, Lanett? Like, where does this want to be with not only your own children, but other children, and teaching them? Because sometimes I feel like you have it or you don't. Like, some of us pick certain degrees or majors because it could provide food, but it doesn't necessarily are fulfilling. for both of you guys, it seemed like you guys enjoyed what you've done with your education per se, as far as getting a degree or getting some part-time learning. Where did all this emphasis come from in wanting to be around children or in the business life for 35 years? I mean, is that something you picked up as a kid? Is that something your parents were, they had you sit down in primary and go, you're going to love kids. And when you get older, you're going to become one of the best teachers in the world. And, like, where does this come from? I'm
I
amazed.
think for you, Lanett,
It's easy.
Your parents were
It's easy.
foster parents. You might want to share that story.
It's easy for me. My parents were foster parents
Mhm.
through church social services. So we used to take in babies that were being put into adoption by mothers that couldn't care for their kids, which, by the way, I will say I have a special love for those mothers
Mhm.
because it requires so much love to give up a child that you've carried, and especially to be able to say, I can't give this child the life that they need, but I'm willing to trust that the Lord will place them in a home that can. And so my parents were the ones that took the babies in until they were actually placed in a permanent home. And we used to name them by the alphabet, A through Z. Until, they were placed in a permanent home. And my mother sometimes had 2 babies at the same time, and we all were a part of that.
Wow.
And so hence the love for children. And we did, the last one that we had we adopted permanently. She was handicapped. Severely handicapped. And she taught us so many lessons of love and life and sacrifice. And so I've always loved children and what you can gain from developing relationships with them and working with them.
Man, you guys are amazing. That's the words that come out of my mouth after hearing what you guys do. It's amazing. But to you guys, that's what we do. It's not something to be patted on the back for. It's just you guys have been moving by the Spirit, and all of it has brought you guys joy. I have a love for people as well, and so I always realize that some people have to learn to love people who are different, and then there are people who it's innate in them. Like, I love all walks of life, people wherever you come from. Mm-hmm. The more, the more hard you are, the more I want to harp on that. And like, I'm going to love you. You're going to see. You're going to find out, but thank you for sharing that. I see some familiar faces here in the background of all these children. And I do remember you in our community being heavily involved with a lot of the activities with the community children, and then with your own as well. So I'm not surprised when I hear it, because we all got to see that on a daily for years. And so thank you, Lanett, for your services and for giving back to our community in that light as well. So, all right. So, we got the.
So they saw some photos when I was serving here on campus. First, I served here on campus as a high councilman under President Pierce, and then I was in charge of doing audits, for the wards. And every month or every so often, I think it was once a month, I would go and see President Pierce in his house and give him the report and whatnot. And I had this feeling at the time, says, man, I think I'm getting too close to the stake president. I think I should scale back a little bit, because if I do a really good job, he might call me another calling that I might, not want to do. And sure enough, a few months after I had that impression, I was called into his office, and in fact, I told him that President Pierre wants to see you and I. And she said, well, I don't know what it's going to be. I think it's something about, your calling. And she said, no, I don't think so. And I had this impression that it's going to be called as a bishop. And sure enough, when I got into his office, we chatted for a little bit, and then he extended the call, and we both looked at each other, and I said, yeah, whatever the Lord wants me to do, I will do.
Yes.
So that picture there was me, and my first counselor was Mark Myers. And of course, the famous John O.
Oh, yes.
Here at BYU.
Yes.
And so we served together for 5 years, and we were the bishopric for the BYU 16th ward, and loved it.
Wow.
It was the best time ever.
Yes.
It was the best time ever. My calling, my patriarchal blessing said in there's something that says that I would follow my husband the world over. And when we got into that ward and saw all the kids from all over the world, I said, this is coming to life. I mean, this is the world over, all of these kids from all over the world, and we loved all of them. We grew so close to them and learned so much about their culture and their people. Oh, it was marvelous.
Did I tell you guys we're amazing? Did I say that already? Oh my goodness. Man, you guys are amazing.
It was fun. It was like a little party.
And we love working with the youth, and we continue up to this day. We love working with the youth.
I can tell.
So 5 years we served together as a bishopric for the 16th ward, and then we got released, and then we went back. We wanted to be nursery leaders again at our home ward. That's our favorite calling. But I think we're teaching the seniors,
You're teaching
the juniors and the seniors Sunday school. So we were really enjoying that calling too. And then I was taking my boys and I was teaching them how to shoot basketball at BYU here on campus when they had the basketball outside by the tennis courts that are not there anymore. Mm-hmm. And one Saturday, and I got this call from Lanett. She said, "Where are you guys at?" I says, "We're playing basketball. I'm teaching the boys how to shoot baskets." And he said, "Well, you better come home. We just got a call from Elder Whiting that he needs to see you in at BYU." I said, "What is it for?" She said, "I don't know." So I said, "Okay, well, we're gonna keep shooting basketball." Well, the ironic thing is, after that call, I couldn't make any more baskets.
No way.
Elder Whiting told me, "Can you just call your husband and tell him to just come home and just rinse him off with the hose, with the hose, and just throw a tie on him and bring him on over." And I thought that was so funny. It was great. It was great.
Man,
so I had the privilege and an honor to serve with President MacArthur and President Laie at the YCA's second stay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wow. And we served together for 5 years. 5 years, and learned so much from these spiritual giants. Yeah. They're amazing, and I'm so grateful for them. And yeah, those are some great memories and great learning experience for me.
They prepared us for what was to come.
Yeah,
the Lord's always preparing us, always testing us.
And so after that calling, after serving in the state presidency, we wanted to keep a really low profile, very low, you know. In fact, we were talking one night. This is before we got the call that we wanted to serve a mission together when we retired. And so we're thinking, well, that'd be nice. You know, we got several years before that point.
Yeah.
But then the Lord had other plans.
Man, the Lord got so many plans for you guys. I don't even know how you guys have the energy to do it. So I'm getting chills and goosebumps as you guys are sharing this, and the spirit is very strong as it testifies that these things are true that you guys are sharing. So I can see myself trying. I can't shoot a basket anyway, so I would have left anyways. You know, there we go. I'm junk anyway. So let's but all right. So looks like we're on another spiritual journey here. What are we looking at here now?
So you set it up perfectly. We got called to serve by President Uchtdorf at the time. It was the day of President Monson's viewing that he called us to serve our mission in Samoa. And we were so excited to go to Samoa and to serve with the temple presidents at the time were the Ho Chings as well. So we had 2 Ho Chings serving at the same time as mission presidents and temple presidents, which was kind of a really fun thing.
Yeah, it was really
sweet. His cousin was serving as the temple president at the time. This picture shows us when we first arrived on the right, and us at the MTC receiving training. And then in the big picture is a picture of our family when Elder Razban set Francis apart, and Elder Gay on the far right set me apart. And he said something that we will never forget. We will never forget. Elder Razban, his grandnephew was serving in our mission, and he kept telling us, "I'm going to come visit you. We're going to come visit you, and we're going to proselyte, and we're going to come learn all about Samoa." But he said, "But for now, I want you to go and establish the church." Wow. And we looked at each other and said, "What the heck is he talking about? The church has been established in Samoa for over 100 years. But we learned really quick when we got to Samoa what he meant.
And that was that he wanted us to make sure that people, the retention was a focus that we need to really put a lot of effort into it, so that people will stay active and stay strong and nourished in the gospel and grow their testimony. So that was one of our focus when we got there. You know, Samoa Apia Mission is always the highest in the Pacific. They were averaged between 180 to 200 every month, new people joining the church.
Wow.
But, you know, but there was a high percentage of people weren't staying active in the church. So we work with our wonderful stake presence in Samoa. There's 25 stakes in Samoa altogether, including Pango, Apia, and Savai'i. And these leaders were awesome. They're great. They love the people. They love the Lord. And so that was one of our focus when we were there, was really working with.
And our
the
missionaries were so good at it. We loved our missionaries, every last one of them. They worked so hard, and they helped these people come and stay on the covenant path. That's where you find joy, is by staying on the covenant path and enduring to the end. And that was the part of the missionary purpose that we really embraced, was enduring to the end, not walking out that revolving door, but staying. And that's where the church really was established.
Wow.
Retention.
Man, thank you for sharing that. I was lost for words. Just kind of honing in on your testimony just now as to the purpose of the Lord's purpose for you folks being there, and seeing how it's all unfolding. And then seeing, of course, so was that your son that also served there in Samoa? Or was that a nephew?
No, actually, that was Quentin. He was still in high school, and he came down with us.
Oh, nice.
And he stayed with us for 6 weeks. And
Nice.
we did a tour of the mission, and he went to all the areas, all the islands, and spent a lot of time with the missionary. I went out proselyting with the missionaries, and so did we.
He loved that.
so
Going out with the APs and learning Malo Lava. He's in his mission in Cabo Verde right now, and he's speaking Portuguese, but he still calls his companions his Soa.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's thank you. I have nothing but gratitude for you guys sharing this, for a lot to share this with a lot of us that are on here. But man, the Lord is doing wonders with you folks, man. Makes you feel like, Lord, I'm here. I can get off watching Netflix, and I think I can do some things, you know. And I can hear him saying, like, well, the first thing is do your fails, and then we can go from there. It's right there. Your wife is upset, so hurry up. All right.
But,
oh, sorry, President. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so this looks like a very beautiful couple here. You want to share us a little background on what we're looking at?
Sure. So this is Danny and Teresa Malala. So Danny, he owned a barber shop, and our missionaries will go there and get their haircuts, and he would give them a really, really special price, and that's 5 tala. 5 tala, convert that into US dollars, was like
looking nice, slick.
100, it was like $1.50 or something like that. And so, and Danny was a returned missionary. At the time when the missionaries were going there to get their haircut, I asked him, hey, where you guys get your haircut? I need to get mine. He says, oh, go to Danny. I said, who's Danny? He said, he's a returned missionary, but he's not really active at church right now. I said, okay, I'll go see Danny. So I start seeing Danny, you know, on a regular basis, and start developing, asking questions about his mission and his journey and all that. At the same time, the sisters were also visiting Teresa and talking about the church, sharing the gospel, and teaching her about about the Savior and the Book of Mormon. Well, you know, this process, you know, took a little bit here, a little bit there, and long story short, Danny became very active, come back to church and start, you know, bringing his family to church. And then, of course, his wife was baptized.
So in that picture on the right, that's a picture of Teresa and their second daughter, Jahari, were baptized on the same day. And Johanna was baptized, and she loved going to church in the primary. She loved it. And what was beautiful about that day they got baptized was that Teresa didn't know that Danny was preparing to baptize her. it was a surprise when he baptized her, and it was such a sweet gift to give that family. So he was the one that baptized them. And a year later, you can see that they went through the temple together. And we often would teach our missionaries that our goal is to see our friends, the people that we teach, in white twice. We want to see them at the baptismal font, and we want to see them at the temple.
Wearing white.
Wearing white. And it was such a beautiful experience. They were there with us the day that we left Samoa to return home from our mission. We keep in touch with them. And there are many people, many friends of ours that we've met that are in the same position here. We have many stories like this, but the joy of seeing them come unto Christ and enduring to the end has been such a blessing for us. It really puts a whole perspective of life on this earth it just puts it into perspective that we can be the Lord's instruments, that we're just continuing his mission.
Wow. It's crazy how you guys ended up in his barbershop.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it answered a lot of prayers, maybe in their family, in their home. And, and I'm pretty sure we've all been on the receiving end of that before. I used to run away when the bishop used to like come knocking on the door, and I'm thinking, did I do something wrong? But they're usually there because they answered somebody's prayer. And it's amazing that when we listen to the Spirit, that we may not always understand why we're going somewhere, but that it's answering prayers. And so that's a very beautiful thing. So plus it looks like he does a very good job of cutting his own hair. So
Yeah.
man, $1.50. Oh my gosh, $1.50.
Special for the missionaries.
Wow. All right, thank you. Okay, so this vibrant family that I'm looking at, please, the audience would like to know, who are we looking at?
So these are our kids. So we have 3 girls first, and then we have our 3 boys after, in that order. And so the only one that's missing here is Quentin, as he's serving his mission. But we also gained 3 sons, son-in-laws.
But I have to tell you a secret about the sons real fast.
Okay.
So our girls grew up with, my kids, they say, we are Samoan. We are Samoan. We are Polynesian. They love their Polynesian heritage, but they have a Chinese last name. So when they got married, all 3 girls married Afakasi boys, whose fathers are Samoan and whose mothers are Palangi or Haole. So they now have Samoan last names. All 3 of our daughters, we have a Niumatalolo, Ala Ilima, and Tialavea, and they're so proud of their Samoan last names.
Oh, wow. That is beautiful. All different shades of brown. I love it.
Right.
Yep.
All different coconut shades. Yeah.
We have 6 grandbabies and 1 more on the way. So pretty soon we'll have 7. And I'm sure there's many more. Our Heavenly Father is planning for our family.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Wow, this man, I have to applaud both of you. You guys did a wonderful job. And raising your children, not only in the gospel, in business, in education, but also in their roots, their Samoan roots. And so, but look how beautiful. So you use that saying, "Genge aulelea." I think you have a lot of them in your family, President. And so, what a blessing. So that's your Chinese Samoan side, and it's a great blend. So, man, kudos to you guys and your families, and for being part of God's work as well as in our community. It says a lot about you, how you represent the Lord, and now your children are following in the same footprints. And that word joy is something that I'm experiencing now with my children that are close to this age. Both my wife and I, we're experiencing that. It's joy. It's different from being happy or being satisfied. Joy lingers. It's the aloha is an action verb.
That's
it's
right.
That when your children are moving with, whether it's aloha or alofa, it's that joy you feel from that they finally are getting it, and you're on the receiving end of that. So I applaud both of you guys very much for your commitment, your sacrifice to raising your family. And so, having said that, I think we have some special guests here today. Now I'd like to bring them on here if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so I believe some of the let me get these mics on. I think
Hello, soy po.
hey. So I think they're trying to get connected. Is that your name, Cam?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then we have me on there.
Hey, love.
And so this is the Ho Ching and the fabulous coconuts, right?
These are our chop suey babies. We call them chop suey because
Chop suey sounds good right now.
All the best stuff all mixed up in one.
Yeah. Well, we're bringing your children on because they've been watching for a while, and they, every child does this. I believe they want to know if their parents are telling the truth. Is my parents' good story? Because President, you whether you're an entertainer or not, a lot of us who are entertainers, we like to just fib a little just to make ourselves look good. And so nobody
off in there, huh?
Right. But and a lot of times, like, people, when us men are talking, they usually look at our wives to see if what they're saying is true or it's a little fabricated, right? Well, children are the same. They want to know, like, man, I don't know, dad always telling good stories over here. But I want to give your children an opportunity to come on here and just share just a little bit about their thoughts about their parents and their missionary work, and what, if you could share with many of us, what is one key thing that you would take away from your parents that you would be instilling that into your own children? Because everyone has their own values. A lot of our values come from our parents from before, and so your parents gave you values that worked for them, and while you're trying to figure out your own values for your own family, what is, and let me help you with this one. President Hinckley was on the Larry King live show somewhere in the mid 90s. And I believe Larry King had asked him, you being the president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, you have a lot of these investigators that come and they want to learn more about your church. What do you say to them? And this is what he said. He said, I say to them, come with all that is good, and let's see if we can add to it.
Mm.
And I remember that broke barriers for me, because I started to think about, we're all God's children, regardless of the faith that we have, because we're still humans. And we still want to be loved and validated, and we hungry and we cry and we need each other. In that regard, what are some of those values that your parents had instilled in you guys that you would take with you? Go ahead. Sorry. I don't know if the speaker is on. You understand me? There you go.
Can you hear me? Can you
Yes.
hear me? I did not know this was happening, so this is a good little surprise. I will amend one part of the story. Dad was not teaching us how to shoot baskets. We were teaching him how to shoot baskets. And then I will say, I mean, there's so many things we could pull from. I would just say probably the one thing that most recently I learned, especially from mom, but also dad too, that if you do the right things, you find the right things, and I think that's very true. And then the gospel makes it very, very easy, because then you know what the right things should be and always will be. So, yeah, I did not know this was happening, but it's really fun to see them tell their story.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. See, that's why we need, we want to make sure the story's correct, because if it holds up in court, it's like, no, this is where it came from. Our witnesses here. All right. So who's next? I see Kendra just joined us.
He's pointing to Kendra.
Kendra, go ahead and share. It looks like you're out there.
Sorry, I also didn't realize. Yep, you're getting us in our raw, real moments.
Nice.
We just had dinner, so baby is covered in food, but it's just so fun to hear and to see my parents share their story, and hopefully nothing too embarrassing about us. But I was just gonna say that the one thing that always stuck out to me, and that we've really tried to incorporate in our family, in our little family, as we are growing, is our kind of family motto, is what we used to call it, was always no empty seats. And I just love that. It's been something we've said over and over again all growing up, ever since we were little, and something that has always stuck with me. And I think something that's really important to that is realizing that at the center of that family, just as real as mom and dad are, and each of the siblings in our family are, is Christ and Heavenly Father. And I think as we've grown and learned and developed our testimonies of the gospel, and grown our own families, that I think I've learned that that's more and more true, that Christ is just as real and just as present as any other member of the family, and the no empty seats includes him. I think that's the kind of comes down to the basics, and that's the foundation of it all. So thanks, Mom and Dad, for teaching us that, and we love you. And it's hard as you grow and your family grows. You know, people move away from home, and we always say, man, I wish we could just like buy a big farm and all live together, because it's so hard to be far away, but it makes getting together even sweeter. So love you guys.
Malola Kendra, thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. All right, and we got the other handsome brother here.
Malo Kalepo.
Malo Pesteni. No, yeah, this is just like what they said on Echo. It's cool hearing the story, because a lot of this stuff I honestly didn't even realize. So it's kind of cool to hear their story. I was just thinking about this the other day too. I was like, man, I should ask them, about their like story and learn more about how this family came to be. But so it's cool to hear that. But two of the things that I cherish from my parents is work hard, do hard things. Because I mean, they're just examples to me in showing that, when you work hard, it pays off. And the second thing is just to keep things simple. That was one of their mottos on their mission, is keep it simple. And I feel like that's resonated with me, like even before they've had that motto on their mission, just throughout my life. I think I just like to keep things simple, and it makes life not easier, but it makes it
manageable,
more easy to navigate. And so and
we all want it. Enduring to the end sounds so daunting, but it's really about enjoying to the end. And
Wow.
I would say that too.
I like
enjoying to the end.
Yeah.
We need to keep things simple so that we can enjoy.
Happier. It's happier if you keep it simple.
Happier. So and then I just appreciate I appreciate especially being up here right now. I'm in Utah. I appreciate the culture that they've rooted us in. So that was always a plus. So I will never lose that. And I'll teach my children as well. That's the same as well. But
yeah, Faftai Uso, man, I appreciate you sharing that testimony of your parents and keeping it simple. I think that goes a long way for a lot of people who are dealing with anxieties because they're trying to control things that they cannot.
Yeah.
And when you understand that, God only gives us enough to be able to handle line upon line, precept upon precept. But thank goodness he gave us parents like President and your mom, Lanett, because, I tell my children this: imagine if you believed in that life before here, that Heavenly Father allowed us to pick our Super Bowl team. And imagine that, we picked our parents to help us to go back to our heavenly parents, right? Because our parents picked their children to help them back too, because we're all part of the same unification and trying to come back together as one. And with no empty seats, I can tell you right now, I truly appreciate that sentiment that Kendra shared, because when I look at my children, you think about Lehi's dream, his vision, and you think about that his children, that his heart, was heavy because two of his sons would not be there. But then we know in the end that Heavenly Father always has a way to help all his children to come back at some point or another. And so that's what I'm gathering here today, listening to, President and Lanett, to your children speak on your behalf. And I imagine that in the next life, these are the ones that will witness your greatness and tell everybody that these are my parents. These are the ones who kept the door open for all of us. And back here, generations and generations that are lined up will be in line to say, President Ho Ching, Sister Ho Ching, thank you so much. Thank you. And so, man, you guys are awesome. This is an amazing family. When you have somebody like your parents, gentlemen, I think, and Kendra here, relish and cherish your parents. They won't be around long enough for us to have these regrets where, like, man, I wish I would have said this to them. And a wise man said this to me: the best eulogy that you can give somebody is while they're still alive. So every day you are on the phone with them or talking or passing through strangers, let them know how you feel about them, and they'll know that, man, you must be a Ho Ching, because there was another man from Samoa and his wife was there too. Like, oh, that's my parents. Like, oh, that makes sense. So anyways, that was my thoughts. I didn't mean to get into the family affair and butt in, but you guys made me feel so inclusive, and I just felt like, how could I resist? But anyways, I wanted to take this time to just to again thank you, Ho Ching children. I know you're not children, you guys are an adult and you guys are all married with children, but I wanted to say thank you very much for your time to be on here with us. I will give your parents the floor to answer some of the questions that their fans are out there waiting for them to answer, and then they will part us with their blessings. So I'll let you guys go, and thank you again for being here. Faso Ifua. All right. So, all right, President and Sister Ho Ching. So we have some comments we have that we've selected. And so if you don't mind, we would love for you to address them. So if my team can go ahead and put some of these messages on board. All right. So from Kekai, we love you, President and Sister Ho Ching, watching for the Philippines.
Oh my gosh.
Gerald was my executive secretary for all 5 years that I served as a bishop on campus. He was an amazing person, and he's a bishop himself at this stage, I think. So we love him.
He married his princess.
That's awesome.
Love at first sight, and we love them so much.
Man. All right. Boy.
Sister
too. We love her.
She was one of our missionaries. We miss them. We miss her. She was an amazing leader, amazing teacher. She was a marvelous teacher, and she was supposed to go to Taiwan on her mission. She never got to go because of COVID, but she embraced the work in Samoa like no other, and she spoke English and Samoan beautifully.
Wow. Okay. Who we got next? Prince Percival Daguman. Aloha, watching from the Philippines.
I'm from the Philippines.
Wow.
We need to get to the Philippines. That's where Caleb served his mission.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. All right. We have Elaine Chung Cruz. Aloha from California, San Francisco Bay Area. Yay.
Yay for the Bay Area.
We love the Bay Area. That's where our Kendall went to school. Palo Alto. So we have a special love for that. Yay! There's our Tipa.
Yeah, that's a great question. How do you guys stay so young and good looking, Malo Lava? That's a great question. So how do you guys do it? What kind of coconuts are in your guys' nutrition these days?
It's all the new we drank in Samoa.
Oh, really? That makes a lot.
You and Esi Papaya.
Yeah.
But I love exercising. I think it's important for us to wake up in the morning and exercise physically and spiritually. That's the key. We need to exercise our spirits as well as our bodies. It's important. Find what you love and do it.
Duly noted. Exactly. Thank you. All right, who we got next? Jennifer Go Murillo. Wow, this couple family got it made. I mean, you preaching to the choir, of course.
Oh goodness.
We
are so imperfect. Just come to our house for a week. You'll see.
All right. Okay, so let's see. President Bobby Okoye. Aloha, Francis and Lanett. We love the Ho Chings. Absolutely.
Love you.
We love the Okoye family. Our kids were friends. They danced together. Good memories.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Do we have a couple? Oh, okay. You guys remember Sister Rowena Reed? Awesome
Reed.
couple. Malo lava mole tautua, mole tato atunu'u. I've seen you grow in your love for our Samoan people.
We love.
Excellent. Very true.
Love Samoa.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Sister Reed. Shannon Lee Kanekoa knew his brother or cousin back in the early 70s at CCH. Beaver Ho Ching.
So Beaver Ho Ching was my cousin that was a temple president when we served as mission president. So it was really fun.
And he was also his bishop.
And he was also my bishop when I was growing up.
No kidding.
Yeah. So he's a great instrument to me.
Nice. All right. So Jeannie What was that? Anese?
Anese, Sister Anese. Hi,
Yeah,
Sister
sorry.
Anese.
Yeah. Hi, President Ho Ching and Mama Ho Ching, watching from.
Goodness.
Oh my gosh, if I could
Aloha
transport, I'd be there and give her a great big hug. She's
Oh.
darling. She sings beautifully and she teaches the gospel beautifully. Oh my gosh.
We're waiting for you to come Hawaii.
Come to
BYU
Hawaii.
Oh, nice. Okay, Roger. You guys remember Roger? He's now in Aussie. Aloha, Francis and Lanett, looking great. Are you still in our Laie second ward in Naniloa Loop? I was at Garside's.
Yes, we missed
love it.
Roger. Oh,
Yeah.
we missed him. He was a joy in our ward. We're back in the same ward in the same home.
Yeah. Hey, Lanett, how's your Samoa now? Oh, yeah.
E felo la fa Samoa.
Nice. I would say that was great. Wow. There you go, Roger. You
Yeah,
got
Seki.
yeah. Nice. All right. And then you guys
Oh,
remember?
we love
Nini?
Nini.
Nini
I love
is,
you guys.
she was one of the first people to greet us when we got home from our mission. She's always there. She's so great.
Right. So, so Auntie Shianini, yeah, she's also here at BYU Hawaii and as well as the Polynesian Cultural Center. So, there's this fabric that's thread between the this side and that side, and especially with your family and all of us, Laie just always attracts a lot of families to come closer to one another. And so it makes sense why some of your family members will be taking certain positions and then you have to serve under their calling, which is always a good thing. So. All right. So I think we have room for one more. Okay. This is from Epe Mikaele. Thank you for sharing your testimonies, President and Sister Ho Ching.
Oh, thank you for giving us the opportunity to share.
And we have Lionel, he's one of our PAS students here. He's one of the top students here. He says, if you had a chance to go back in time and give advice to your younger self, what would it be? What do you mean your younger self? This is the younger self. Anyway, sorry,
That's
Lionel.
a great question. Yeah.
Well, I don't believe in do-overs, so I wouldn't even know how to answer that question.
Well, that's a very good question. It is hard because what basically Auntie Lanett was saying, Lionel, is you live your life to the fullest, no regrets, and any shortfalls is a lesson learned, and that becomes a success for you as well.
Yeah.
I believe I used to say this to the missionaries all the time. It's good when you finish whatever it is you're doing and say, I'm glad I did, not I wish I had.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have any regrets. Always leave everything you have there for the Lord on the table.
And sometimes the mistakes that we made through our journey is what you needed to become who you are now. So I would tell him I wouldn't change a thing.
Do you guys have room to adopt another child?
They might end up worse. You better not do that.
All right, I do see one more. This one, you guys might know her. I think she's right on here. Can I get that? Yes, this is Jane Ho Ching Toliana. Awesome. Appreciate your love and example. Aloha. You guys know this person?
Yeah, I think we know her
just a
little bit.
She's part of the reason why our kids have been able to be where they are now, because she was there for them through thick and thin, growing up from baby to now. She is the auntie of all aunties.
Wow. Okay, and then I think, this might be another family member. Dr. Lynn Ho Ching, love you, Uncle Francis, Auntie Lanett, Talo from Mesa, Arizona.
Mesa's where I'm from, and they all live there now. It's double the reason to go back and visit.
Okay, wow, you got so many people. I told you 1 hour is not going to do it. It's not. You guys have a plethora of experiences that God has taken you. We all need a roadmap to the Ho Ching adventures. We're like, okay, so they stopped here and then they went here. It's one of those types of things where you just feel like you don't want it to end. But unfortunately, we do. But I definitely want you guys to have the last word. So, President Ho Ching and Sister Ho Ching, what kind of what words would you leave for our students who have come afar from their homeland to come and get an education here, and also in understanding how the Lord works, even to a point where you're raising your own families and the sacrifices you've made as a family to have President Ho Ching, leave the home quite often in those 35 years. what kind of advice or counsel would you give some of our students who are starting out in any one of those paths?
Really simple for me. That is to put the Lord first. Always put him first. You know, when we have missionaries that are struggling in their journey as missionaries and becoming a true disciple of the Lord, they always come down because they put themselves first instead of the Lord first. You put the Lord first and lean on him, I promise you, everything will work out. It always will. He will always provide. He never let us alone. I mean, be alone. It goes back to the scripture in D&C 84:88. He's on your right, he's on your left, and his spirit is within us, and he will send his angel to be with us in time of needs. So always put him first. That's my advice.
Well, thank you, President. Sister Ho Ching, you have any?
I'll just keep it simple. That's what we told our missionaries, always keep things simple, but love the Lord so much. And the way that you love him is by knowing him. Come to know him. The world is not going to tell you who the Lord is. The world is not going to tell you who the Lord is. You know where to go to find out who he is. And as you love him and know him, trust him, and he will lead you where you need to go. And the joy is lasting. It'll last. It won't depart from you. There is no such thing as the holy Google. There is no such thing as the holy Facebook. But you have a loving Heavenly Father who, if you follow him, he will never lead you astray.
Thank you. Well, thank you, President, and thank you, Sister Ho Ching, for just this wonderful opportunity to get to know you and your family, and especially what the Lord has in store for both of you and what he's done with you so far. For many of us, we could only understand it from a certain place. Some of us never experienced those types of things. But one thing was for sure was that the Spirit was here today, and we could all understand it through the Spirit. You're amazing, and you're amazing people both in and out, and the things that you do. What I love most about you both is the gratitude and the humbleness that you guys have, and knowing your place in this world and how the Lord is utilizing you. May we, pray to the Lord that he continues to shed his light on both of you and your families as you continue to serve in these capacities, that it will help many of those who are struggling to find the Lord, that you would be able to reach them. We are grateful to know you and have you be part of our alumni podcast today and here at BYU Hawaii and the Polynesian Culture Center. And with that, we want to express our love to both of you and wish you guys a wonderful Aloha Friday. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we want to thank you all for chiming in today on this wonderful Aloha Friday, especially with meeting President Ho Ching and Sister Ho Ching, and them sharing their stories about what BYU has done for them, what the Church of Jesus Christ has done for them, where their family is now, all because they put their trust and their faith in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and his plan. And so may we all take from that all the good that is there, and see if we can add to all the other good things that we're doing, that we may put ourselves in positions to help those who are in need. We also want to thank BYU Hawaii for allowing us this platform, and the Ho'okele Department for supporting this venue today, and all of those who are in attendance to be able to watch the Ho Chings today. So with that, wishing everybody a wonderful Friday and have a wonderful weekend. Aloha.